Write your name. Kinley, sorry, Oliver Kinley. Oliver Kinley is the head writer of the series Bad Banks, which is a letterbox film production by ZDF German television in Germany. Oliver has been a writer, a director, an illustrator, and a composer since he was a teenager. From 2004 to 2010, he studied directing at the Film Academy. Oliver graduates thesis from with the film Bis aufs Blut. Stronger Than Blood was his first feature film for cinema. Since then, Oliver has shown his skill as both a writer and a director. Oliver, thank you very much. We saw a very brief clip about Bad Banks. Let me summarize for the one that you're not aware what Bad Banks is really about. After being wrongly fired from Credit International, a prestigious investment bank in Luxembourg, Jana Lichtman, a talented youth investment banker, is offered a dream job in Frankfurt under the supervision of the prominent Gabriel Fenger, head of investment bank. Am I right until then? Okay. But Jana not only has to give her a job, but also must leave a boyfriend and her 5-year-old daughter. Oliver, thank you for being here this afternoon. I have to say that Bad Bank is an extremely highly addictive series. Writing and directing a show takes a considerable amount of time of your life, so my first question will be, what inspired you to create this project?
This one? This.
Okay.
Well, for me it started with our producer Lisa calling me and asking me if I want to write a series about investment banking. And to be honest, if you were talking like 6 or 7 years ago that I would write a series, 2 seasons about series about investment banking, I would have not believed you, because I'm coming more from like a working class environment, and I had a lot of prejudices against bankers, and I'm not good at calculating, and it's really not that I grew up in this. My father was a businessman, so I had like this this picture in my head of businessman, but I'm more from like I always made movies, and most of my friends started working when they were like 15 or so. So it was not my my industry. But Lisa asked me if I want to write a series about this, and I started researching a lot, and we had an enormous research. And you know, you have the theoretical part of a research where you have to learn everything about structured finance and derivatives and all this stuff, and it was really a hard thing for me to learn all this theoretical thing. But the cool part and the fascinating part was to meet a lot of bankers and people from the customer side, and to talk to a lot of people, and that's what got me inspired. And I don't know how it is for you guys, but for me as a writer, it's always the same process, that I get inspired from something, then these characters and these conflicts are starting to grow in my head, and I don't really know where this is coming from. I didn't actually know in the beginning why I want to write something about bankers, and it always takes a while for me till I realize what that story got to do with me, even if I'm not a banker. But for me it was like to realize that my father had a heart attack and he worked himself to death. And that's what, like, I think 1.5 years I was working on Bad Banks when I had this realization. I never thought about it, and I never spoke it out loud that my father worked himself to death. But that was my realization when I got, oh, that's why I'm having these characters in my head, because basically I'm trying to find out why my father worked himself to death. And I think that was my main inspiration for the series, to not make a show about bankers and not about addicts or workaholics, but about people who rather die before losing a job. So